stiff arms of crap out of Drake Kirkpatrick right there. Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, beating a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, this is actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines. Hello, and you are listening to another edition, the 20th edition of Blewett's Blitz. It's been about 2 weeks since I did my last show. Feels like an intro to like an AA meeting. Been a little bit busy. Some things have been going on, so I haven't been able to put out as much film and shows. But today, 31 plays of Cameron Clark, the Jets. He's a 4th-round pick. And then next show, we're going to be doing, I think, 27 to 30-ish plays of James Morgan. Then we got Bryce Huff. Both Clark and Morgan are already done on Jets X Factor website. Get the full thing. Huff is recorded. I am going to be putting up those plays soon. And then after that, I think I'm going to do Desir. I did a vote, and Desir and Cager were tied. I honestly think Desir is more interesting. Cager, based on what I've seen a little bit and what I've heard, he's probably not going to impress me as much as maybe some of you would hope that he can just be this 4th or 5th string guy who can come in the red zone and things like that. We'll see. But I think it's going to be Desir, then probably Lawrence Cager from Georgia. After that, the undrafted free agents. I'm going to start mixing in the free agents, the guys like Desir and Peanut and Van Roten, because they're already done. And with the undrafted guys, if I can only get out a certain amount of content, which it seems like, it's about to be mid-June. So got about 2 more months before preseason starts. If I can get another 8 shows, 1 show a week, we might be leaving out a guy like a Flacco or a Gore or a George Campbell, plus the other shows I want to do. So I'm going to start taking the guys I need to get out, the Desirs, the Van Rotens, the Fants, and putting them up a little bit higher, not just doing all the undrafted guys before those. Because out of the guys I have left, Guidry, Jackson, Cager, Campbell, Fant, Desir, Van Roten, Peanut, Wilson, Gore, Flacco. I do want to do a top 25. I want to do a 55-man roster prediction. I would also like to do a call-in show. Some of you guys did respond to that. I'm going to figure out how to do that, whether it be through like a YouTube stream where everybody, let's say, today's Tuesday 8 to 10 or Wednesday 9 to 11, whatever it may be. I'm either going to do that, or I'm going to do a live Zoom show where you can call in. You don't have to show your face or anything like that. I know some people aren't comfortable when even calling in to talking and showing your face at the same time. So we could do that as well. You'll see that little phone symbol. You don't have to come onto the video. If you want to come onto the video, by all means. I don't care. It doesn't bother me anymore to talk on video. It only bothers me to watch myself talk on video. Other than that, though, so I can get to the show, at JoreV31 on Twitter. That's where I tweeted. That's where I do all my work. Pretty much is on Twitter, and obviously Jets X Factor. Follow Michael Nania there too. Michael_Nania. Follow the main Jets X Factor thing at literally Jets X Factor, no spaces. Follow Robbie Sabo at Robbie Sabo, no spaces. YouTube Blewett's Blitz. Obviously, I always talk about the podcast reviews and things like that, which I'm bringing up right now. The people who have been watching on YouTube have gone to the podcast app and left 5-star ratings and reviews. I really, really do appreciate that more than you know. And we got 3 of them, 3 5-star ratings and reviews this last week. One from Neptune0923, basically just saying if you want to really understand the game and get a fair assessment of the players, this is where you get it. Danny A. Rucci said he just subscribed. Awesome. Welcome to the website. And all the film breakdowns are amazing. Best Jets content out there. Appreciate that. And then another one, T-Bone 8188. Awesome show. Says amazing job of breaking down a film. If you really want to give your team, or if you really want to know your team, give the show a listen. That's what I'm trying to do here. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much before I get into the show. There are not hundreds. There are 10s and 20s and 30s of Jets podcasts out there that are going to talk Jamal Adams, all the storylines, this guy versus that guy, should they assign this guy, and talking points and storylines. There's not one website that watches film and puts it out there. there is very little websites that watch the film and understand what they're watching and then talk about their opinions. So a lot of the opinions you're getting on the players, guys they sign, guys they don't sign, how teams fit, about Gase, about all this stuff, they don't know what they're talking about. And I don't want to sound like a prick, but I'll be a prick. There's not a lot of football fans who really know what they're watching. A lot of those other hosts, if you told them cover 3 replacement, or like where me and Marcus talking about Palms coverage, which is basic stuff in football, how many of them could talk about that, and I think that's necessary to be able to talk about your team so strongly about which player you want to sign and which money was allocated to this guy. So I don't really like a lot of those other shows, to be honest. Like, some of them great. It's fun to listen to when you're on maybe a 10-hour car ride, you need something to listen to. But if you're really trying to get informed, you're really trying to learn about your players and learn about your team and learn about the offense and learn about what they're trying to do, what went wrong, that's what you're getting here. Preseason, I will be doing breakdowns of all, whatever it is, 2, 3, 4 games. It's probably gonna be like 2 or 3 at this point. And during the season, I will be doing breakdowns of every single game. It depends on how much time I have that week. Some week I might have time to break down 50 plays and do 50 plays on the show. There might be weeks where I'm really busy and I can only do 20 plays. It depends on my schedule. This is not my full-time job. I wish it was, but that's what will be happening as well. So, a lot of people, they lost the game because of this. Did they really? Or was it these other 20 plays and whatever aspect that really lost them this game? So stick around for the season as well. I know a lot of people like the season stuff, breaking down the games. It becomes a little bit sucky if they start losing and you're breaking down games, when they're, let's say, hopefully they're not, but like 4-10, in December. People don't really want to see it or they don't really care. But to get into Cameron Clark, want to get this done. He's an offensive tackle, offensive guard. I really think he's going to be a guard. 6'5", 309, 34-inch arms, which is like, I think that's like the borderline for what you want. 33 is where I have to worry a little bit. 34 is pretty much like that. That's okay. That's when you get a thumbs up for your arm length. Anywhere below that, it gets kind of sketchy for offensive linemen. You obviously want those long arms. We've talked about that a lot on this show. I don't need to go into every single reason why. I do not think. Strengths, physical, nasty player. I think he's even nastier than Becton, to be completely honest. Becton has a mean streak, but Clark has an even meaner streak. He just doesn't have a 370-pound body like Becton does. So physical, nasty player, strong hands, plays a decent leverage, overall power, decent foot speed. And I put in parentheses, assuming transition to guard. Grip strength, plays long, awareness, anchor, flashes really well, timed punches, hand placement, active eyes. There's a freaking, what is that? A fucking bug. Grip strength, plays long, awareness, anchor. Okay, I already said this. Active eyes, drives through lower body. Strong core, strong lower body, balance, stays tight to offensive guard and pass pro. Good at passing off stunts, frames, rusher as well. Redirects force. Have seen reps with fake punches, which is a positive. Knows how and when to wrench rushers. Lateral quickness. These are the weaknesses. Sorry. Lateral quickness. Reps of him playing high in pass pro. Too aggressive with punch and pass and run game. Needs more patience in pass pro. Will have to transition to guard, a position he has never played. Feet can be a bit slow, clunky. Opens gate too early in pass pro. Don't want him working to second level consistently. Needs to take better angles in space. Can be a little bit top heavy. Needs to bring feet with him into run blocks. Reaches for contact. Opens as he punches in pass pro. Feet can stall in space. And needs to be more consistent with his set point. All right, let's get into the film with all of that being said. All right, let's see. Funny story. 2 weeks. Well, yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. I had to chase a naked guy down the middle of the highway the other day, which is really fun. I wish I could show my body cam, but I can't. That is not legal. So that would be fun to show with everybody, break it down step by step. But I'm not going to do that, especially with the naked guy who you have to wrestle. So play number 1. Break it down. All right. And by the way, about the other stuff too that's happening right now, I'm not making a comment. If you want to speak to me in private about it, fine. I've done it with plenty of people. But I'm not making a whole comment. I'm not doing a podcast about it like these other people are doing, because honestly, even with that stuff, I'm not even going to mention what it is if you know what I'm talking about. I think it's a really deep-rooted issue. There's issues on both sides. but there's no, I'm not going to talk about it in 30 minutes on a podcast. And a lot of these people who are talking about this type of stuff don't really know what they're talking about from either side. They just kind of want to jump in and feel important, to be completely honest. So let's go to the first play. I guess I kind of made a comment there, but there's definitely things to fix all around, not passing off blame or anything like that. So left tackle, he's always going to be left tackle. He didn't switch positions. He didn't play. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you, well, I guess you can, I'll stop the share real quick just to show this. Jets X Factor store. This is the Run CMG shirt. Not a lot of people might not want a shirt with Connor McGovern on it, but if you do, there it is. 20 more reviews. I'll be giving away a free year subscription and a free T-shirt. Keep dropping those reviews. Even like I said, if it's a sentence, like the show, 5 stars, you'll be entered to win the free year, which is $50 plus a T-shirt. So it's like a $70 value for you taking literally 2 minutes of your time. So left tackle, physical drive. I believe this is where he's going to gallop. All right. So a couple things in this play. He's galloping to one, create power. And the gallop is that first step towards the guy. And then you're really loading off of that back foot. So step toward and loading off, and you're literally galloping. So step towards, and it's almost like a hop into it. See what I'm saying? So it's a gallop technique. Towards and skip off of that. Left hand, good hand placement, playing with good leverage. Like I said, you always want to attack the hip when you're trying to create that movement in these scenarios. You want to attack that that middle of the body. That's where all their balance is. So you want to move that. You want to move that midpoint of the body. If you attack the upper body, we've talked about it. You know, they could take that force on, you know, with their body lean, but still have their strong base. If you have to attack the base to move them. So good job attacking that base and continuing to drive his legs, and get him out of there. So I'll play it again right here. But good gallop, good hand technique, good drive. And you're going to see him after almost every single play that I'm going to show. He's going to finish the play as best as they possibly can. I don't know if this looks cloud. I don't know. My screen looks cloudy. I don't know if I look cloudy to people, but whatever. Torque. Let's see what this one is. All right. All right. So he's on the backside of. This is what I call a frontside pin and pull. Yeah, frontside pin and pull. He's on the back. The backside. He wants to reach the 3-tech right here. It's going to be really, really hard for him to open up and get in front of that guy. I would like to see a little bit different footwork. I would like to see more of a bucket step here instead of like this lateral step. He's not really allowing himself to fully open his hips up right here. So I'd like to see that little bit different footwork right there with that right foot. But he knows at this point he's not going to be able to get in front of the guy. Again, hand placement, left hand on the hip, really good. You want to move a guy, you want to get control of a guy, attack that center, the center of their mass. Left hand in front, right hand. I can't tell exactly where it lands, but it does land on the front of his body. He uses that as a pivot point and spins his body around, gets in front of him. That's not an easy play for a left tackle to reach the 3-tech right there, who's trying to penetrate that B gap. Like he's not hesitating or anything. He's pushing straight up the field as soon as the ball is snapped. So a really good hand placement with that left. Like I said, using that hand as a pivot point to swing around right there, and he wrenches him. So he's going to get that left hand. Like I said, you have a left hand on the back or the right hand on the back and the other hand on the body, and you're going to spin around it and turn him. That's what I do. I define that as wrenching. So he wrenches him to the backside, takes him out of the play. Really, another nice block right there from Cam Clark. I don't spend too long on these plays. Some people want me to dumb it down at times. Give me feedback on that. There's some people who want me to dumb things down. There's some people who want me to stay how it is. I feel like the reason a lot of people are coming to the show is, I guess, both to learn about the players, but to learn about football as well. If you want me to dumb some things down, I can dumb it down. Actually, no, I won't. I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, so left tackle right here. This is where I believe I said this is a play with some positives, some negatives. The negatives being from this play that you're going to see him kind of kick it into full gear and you're going to see that helmet pop up and down, which you don't want to see for really any set. But he still has good technique. So this is more physical limitations type play, but still good technique, I believe. Yeah, you see how look at his body. You see how slow he kind of is right there. You see how it really looks like he's trying to get back, but like you could see how slow his feet are here. So this is why people, okay, well, can he play left tackle in the NFL with feet like this? He's not, and even with how slow his feet are, you see his helmet, his pad level. You see it's up, down, up, down. You don't want to see that. You want to see really smooth feet, quick change of direction. That one makes you off balance. Two doesn't make for a quick change of direction. No, I like that he doesn't open up too early. He opens up as he's getting onto his level. He's able to land his hands on and anchor down. You can see as he comes into contact, he kind of hops his feet back right here, works off the insteps. Again, hold on, pause it. So I'm saying with the insteps, he's working off the midfoot, Again, we've talked about why that's important. You don't want to work or give them that natural lever point of your joints. So good job right there. Again, sorry for the quick rewind. You're going to see some of the clunky feet there, but overall good technique. So some negatives, some positives on that one. I want to bring something else up about this play too. I already did this play, but the one thing that I do like that it seems that he knows, at least on this play, I haven't done a review in about 2 weeks, so I'm forgetting some of the plays that he did. I don't remember every single play I put up of every single person. The one thing I think it's important here is the fact that the edge, the stand-up edge, the emo, the outside linebacker, again, I don't like getting crazy about names and things like that because people might label a defense whatever a 3-4-5 when really they're using that fourth outside linebacker as a D end. So then it's really looked as like a 4-2-5. Like it's not a big deal. Don't get tripped up into that stuff. But the one thing I do like about this play, I always talk about force and redirecting force. So, in the run game, you want to push, other times you want to torque and use circular force, as they call it. There's times you want to lift. There's times you want to pull. When you're getting bull rushed, when a guy's into your chest and trying to bull rush you, as this guy's last ditch effort here, he doesn't really set it up very well. You don't want to fight push with push. You want to lift push. So you want to redirect that force. If they're coming straight up to you and then you're just colliding head on, that's just power versus power. Whereas even if you're a weaker guy and you get lower leverage and he's pushing and you are pushing you and you push him upwards or lift him upwards, you're redirecting the force up. So you're not taking on that full force, if that makes sense. So I like the fact that he hops back here and he's lifting. He's not going force against force. He's lifting him up. So good job right there. I want to bring that up as well because I think that's important. This is some decent movement skills. Again, this is going to be good for a guard, not necessarily the best for a tackle. Let's see what this is. So this is a combo to the what I've heard recently referred to as a thick linebacker. When it's the far linebacker, it's the thick linebacker. When it's the close linebacker, it's the thin linebacker. So the thick linebacker, which is usually going to be the backside guy. Again, can't see his total footwork. Well, I can. Like a drop step right there. Looks like he's going to attack low. If you're follow the left tackle, you guys should know he's a left tackle at this point. I don't think I have to point him out every single time. He's right here. Take on the 3-tech on the combo to the backside. Looks like he attacks low. Obviously creates a ton of movement. If you look where he comes into the block, creates a ton of movement. Eyes to the second level. His eyes are up right here. As soon as that linebacker starts to scrape off, peels off of that and gets his hands on him and drives him backwards. And he gets off the block eventually, but I'll play this in full speed. Really, really good combo, good hand placement, good movement, good eyes, good peel off, good hand placement on the secondary guy, good foot drive. Like this is a good play by Clark right here. Really, really like that one. Now, like at this, okay, yeah, could he have stayed a little bit less top heavy and drove that guy further down the field? Yeah, but still, it's still definitely a good play for Clark. Feisty. All right. There's a lot of plays if you watch just after the snap of how feisty this dude is, and there's a reason. towards sometime this year, I really wanted to be Becton next to Clark, next to McGovern. McGovern's not as nasty as a player those guys are, but you're running behind Clark and Becton, man, like they could wreck you. Um, and then you have Winters, you have McGovern, you have Alex Lewis as the other guards, and the best man may win at right guard, and Clark can start at right guard too. It depends on what he's more comfortable with. And then you have Fant and Adoga battling out for right tackle. So the line is not done yet, but I think with Clark, I don't know if he's going to start this year, but I think next year you have your left tackle, one of the guard spots with Clark, you have McGovern, and then you have to figure out if Adoga or Fant is an option. Even if they're below average to average, you can get away with one guy in their line being below average to average and still being a really good line. So you're hoping that one of those guys steps up, and then inevitably you're going to have to bring in at least one offensive lineman next year, whether it be a guard to replace Van Roten, Winters, whoever they're, Lewis, who is consistently injured. So I think there's going to at least be a guard, but maybe it's just a guard and you can focus on linebacker, corner, etc. But that's why I really hope that Fant and Adoga would step up. And I think Fant's going to be a really interesting review. You guys are going to see exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about this on podcast. And again, there's people out there who just follow Pro Football Focus or whatever. You have one guy who says, "Oh, I don't get the Fant signing," and then everybody runs it and says how bad he is. You're going to really see the progression that I'm going to show you from 18 when I'm going to roast him. Middle 19, he's still going to get roasted. End of 19, he looks like a different player. So I'm hoping that continues the trend upward. That was at left tackle though. So can he do it at right tackle? I don't know. I think some of the plays from 2018 were right tackle, but regardless. All right. So this is again, we're going to watch him after the play on a couple of these plays just to show how damn feisty he is. Now, initially I said he opens his hips up a little bit early. It looks like they're, as a part of the, it was like play action into like a fake end around. It looks like the whole line is sliding left. So he has a little bit more freedom to open his hips up and get out left because he knows he has this left guard inside of him helping him out. I would like to see him not create as much space right here because you see how his hands are down. He doesn't look like he's completely on balance right here. If this guy were to shoot upfield and shoot across his face, I think it's a possibility. So I would like to see him a little bit more square to the line of scrimmage right here. And again, you could see his feet aren't the smoothest. Like he's not gonna be a tackle at the next level. He's just not. At least I really don't think so. I really think he's gonna be a guard. But I like the mindset. So watch after the play. So he does get his hands on him. Good job. But he drives you through the whistle. I like it. I like it a lot. That's not even the best example, to be completely honest. I have another play here that's labeled feisty. I don't know what the whole play is, but let's see him at left tackle again and see what happens here. All right, so this is like this is almost like another pin and pull. You can call it like a sweep too. He's going to pull to get to the outside. He's going to kick out that edge. I like the angle here, for sure. You're gonna see a lot of guys in this scenario try to react too hard, and they're gonna take an angle down the field or up the field like this. If you're following my mouse, and they're gonna take an angle like this to try to cut them off. But you really just want to cover the inside gap. So if this guy's gonna run himself out of the play and run up the arc, let him. Who cares? So I like the angle here. I like how he does not overreacting, and he takes a nice flat angle to him. Left hand inside, right hand looks like it's on the hip somewhere. Again, contacts him at the 10, and you're going to see how far he drives him. I really, really like the dude's mindset. There's a lot of guys who they come into contact right here. Maybe they push him back and then stop right now. Clark is not one of those guys. He finishes you all the way through the whistle, every single play. You got to really, really like his mindset, and really good angle there for sure for him. Stunt pickup. All right. Solid play for him. All right. So again, coming off the snap right here, you're going to see like there's not the smoothest feet. You can see he's laboring a little bit to get back, but he's still on balance. Like he has a good center of gravity right now. I don't think he's too off balance. As soon as that guy goes across his face, a part of that DT stunt, DT, People call him like Tex and Ted and all these different things. It's really simple to say DETTE. People are trying to get fancy with Tex and Ted and whatever. So he drops his post foot, drops the post foot. He's going to get the right hand inside, which is ensuring that this guard is going to have enough time. If this guard is wrapped up and this guy's a good, and if this guy plays it well, and now this guard is taking this guy full on, and the penetrator, the picker sees that this guy took him full on, he'll just shoot that gap and he won't try to pick him. So he's going to make sure to drop that post, get the right hand on, just in case he has to make up for that guard. Good job getting the hand on. Again, this is really nice. I really like this stunt pickup. So drop the post, right hand inside. Eyes are up. They're not on this guy. They're up. He's waiting for the looper, and then watch the left hand on the hip. Again, talk about that hand placement on the hip is really important, and he understands hand placement. I really like that on that. Uses him as a push off point, pushes him while again now dropping that up. Now his other post foot. So he switched the post, now drops the other post, gets outside, hands on, and shuts down that play. So once I explain that to you all, now watching in full speed, it's a little bit more impressive once you watch that. Once you watch the drop of the post foot, the right hand side, the left hand on the hip, the eyes up, the push off, then him getting outside. That's all that happens there, which is a lot. But in a 3-second clip, it's hard to see all that right away. And this is again why people don't talk about this stuff. They just don't talk about this stuff. That's what it is. I'm in one of those moods today. I don't know what it is. The IDGAF type mood. So Clark finished rep after rep. All right. Oh man, you gotta love it. It's the little, so here it looks like they're running like an inside tight zone, whatever it may be. Now, I don't like Clark's technique necessarily here. I don't like how he's like taking that drop step right there and then kind of reaching for contact. I would like to see him work laterally then upfield to completely cut off and choke off that angle. But he kind of drop steps and reaches for it, which could allow this DN to scrape over the top and get it on that play. So I'd like to see him cover a little bit more. But he's able to get his hands on. The left hand slips and it looks like the guy actually gets into his chest. Clark hops back, refits his hands, and he just drives him. So it's not the best play, but you could see he literally drives him, gets under the armpit, and lifts him off of his feet to the ground, goes to the ground with him. And then even after that, okay, so he just pancaked the guy, even though it didn't, come with the initial great technique that you'd like to see. And he's still pushing off the guy, getting in his face after the rep. Like, it's the little stuff like that I really, really like to see. So good power right here. Good, obviously didn't start off great, but good job refitting the hands, getting underneath the guy, literally lifting him off the ground, and then getting into his face after the rep. Gotta like that. Next play, 10, power. All right. Let's see what this is. All right, so again, they teach us more in college than you see in the NFL. This these zero steps. You see this a lot more in college, at least from what I've seen from college, as compared to the NFL. So again, and in this scenario, when a guy is tighter like this, the 5 tech, the tight 5, I'm more okay with the drop step the drop or the zero. They're a little bit different, but the zero step, because you don't want to get too far outside laterally and have him shoot to that B gap. So that's why they're probably teaching him, at least in this scenario, for that zero. So he takes the zero step, gets his hands on again because of stupid broadcast angles I get. For some of the guys, they're obviously with Becton and other guys, I got more all 22, but unfortunately Charlotte didn't have any all 22 available. Zero step, hands on. He comes into the block with good leverage. Again, upper body is in line with his lower body. His thighs are working at opposite angle, acting as a shock absorber, throwing his weight back as well. Obviously, if your whole body's, if you're going to be parallel like this, your whole body are going to fall to the ground. So you need something else to work at an opposite angle, to be able to stand upright and to keep balance. So he gets his hands on, torques him outside, hands on. This is core power. This is coming from the lower body too. He's really generating power up through this foot right here, up through the instep, up through his hips, and he's going to rotate off of that, the circular force. And it's all coming from that left foot that's planted right there. And he's going to throw him outside, torques him outside, hands on. Now with this, the only thing I would say, a little bit of criticism, after he torques him outside, I'd like to see him come to bounce a little bit more. I don't know if this guy, it looks like this guy's actually grabbing maybe by the face mask right here. That's kind of what it looks like, actually. Yeah, I think he's grabbing his face mask, actually. Yeah, I would say so. So never mind. That should be a penalty on the defensive end. But good play from Clark on that one. Next one finish. This is probably the most famous play you saw. Famous play. This is probably the play you probably saw the most after he was drafted. And listen, a lot of these plays I'm showing you right now are versus one of the best teams in the entire country. So yeah, he played small schools, whatever it may be, Duke or whoever. I probably have it written down. Whatever games he played that I watched. Yeah, he played versus some smaller schools, but at the same time, when he plays Clemson, the biggest game he's going to have all year, he balled the hell out. So that's what you want to see. You don't want to see, if I saw a small school guy who's killing, the Mount St. Mary's and the Appalachian States and all this stuff, and then came and played LSU or Clemson or Ohio State, and they were shell themselves and looked like shit, that really shows me something. But when a guy is playing a bunch of small schools, comes and plays Clemson, and then plays better than he ever has before, it's showing that he can really keep up with these guys. So this is a really important game for him. I'm sure he knew that. People are going to be watching this game on his film. And just this game could have brought him from a fourth-round pick to maybe like a sixth-round pick. Like that legitimately can matter that much, these type of games. So good job by him for sure. So we're going to see like another 0 right here. This is almost more like a drop. Like it actually does come and drop off of that instep. So it's 0 and drops are like the same thing. 0 kind of just kicks up and comes to the same spot, where a drop is going backwards a little bit, and you're going to be working off the instep. Some people call that a brace step too. I usually use brace steps in the run game, not in the pass game. Drop 0 step. I think he reaches for contact a little bit too much right here. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, it's like right there. I think he's reaching a little bit too much. So I would like to see him. I want to see what the run is right here, actually, really quick. All right, so you have like a lead outside zone. Lead zone, lead outside zone. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with what it does initially. I'd like to see him climb a little bit more before reaching, because right now, if this guy was to anticipate it, this D end was anticipated, chops it down, he's going on his ass. He's leaning too much forward right now. You could see how his legs are really hard, flat angle, and so is his body. And his legs are working straight up. They're not necessarily working at opposite angle. So he's really leaning right here. So if his hands are defeated, he's going right to the top of he's going right onto his face. So would like to fix that a little bit, but he does get his hands on, torques the guy outside. Another tiny little criticism here. Once he torques him outside, don't want to see him work this flat. I want to see him work a little bit more upfield, because your running back at this point is reading off of you. And if he sees your leverage on him, he's going to cut upfield. You don't want this guy to club you, whatever, to scrape over the top and work to that running back. So I would like to see him, again, not lean, not reach, and work more upfield here after that initial engagement where they're disengaged. So I'd like to see him work a little bit more upfield, but he's able to get hands on. The running back cuts upfield. I'm not sure where his right hand lands. Looks like it's onto the chest. Left hand fits into the armpit. Again, armpits, pecs, hips are what like you're really looking for in terms of like hand placement for offensive linemen. Obviously depending on the play, but those are like the 3 areas. If they're hitting one of those areas, it's usually going to be a good play, unless you're using whatever technique they are just completely wrong. And he's just going to literally just drive this guy for, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards. So let's watch this in full speed. Don't want to use, I use some curses, but I effing love this shit. I do. This stuff, I I love it. If you notice a trend, it's with the corners getting involved with the run game. It's the wide receivers blocking. It's the offensive lineman giving effort. It's the DNs giving effort. I love effort, nasty players, and it seems like Joe Douglas does too. With some of the guys he's bringing in through the draft and things like that. Team captains, leaders, guys who are going to play hard every rep. Look at this freaking play from Clark, man. Like that is, I'm going to play it again. That's just out of respect for Clark. Again, now there are some technical things he could definitely clean up. I've pointed them out, but that mindset right there is fantastic. And the fact that right now, literally today, he was working with Duke Manyweather, with Mekhi Becton, I believe Teron Armstead, wherever Duke Manyweather is. I think it's somewhere in like Texas, or I could be wrong, whatever the area is. But he's working with one of the guys who's worked with like the Zach Martins and Teron Armsteads and all these like upper echelon offensive linemen. So I'm happy that those guys are getting camaraderie already and working with a guy who is like a legit offensive lineman teacher type. So awesome stuff. So you have him pulling right here. This is called counter OT. Some people call it counter OT, counter GT, whatever you want to call it. So he uses this is what you call a skip pull. You're usually gonna, with a skip pull, some people teach it differently. In most instances, you're gonna see the direction they want to go in, that lead foot drop back, and then this the far foot away from the play is gonna skip. Usually it's behind it. Some people will just hop out of this and skip right away. Some people teach, you see how his right foot comes back here and then he hops backwards. Some guys will just teach it. If you have an offensive lineman who's athletic enough, they will just hop right out of the stance and skip. So it's almost like a karaoke. If you ever play like basketball, you're doing karaoke's. It's a skip pull. The meaning of it, or the reason for it being, you want to stay square. You want to evaluate your threats. It's usually meant for a shorter pull, whereas like an open pull is usually for a farther distance covered. But he uses skip pull here, and it looks like the guard is taught to just take the first threat that comes across his face. He takes that threat. You have Clark, who I like how he's staying tight to the line of scrimmage when he's pulling. You want to stay tight to the line of scrimmage because your running back's gonna be working upfield. So anybody's gonna be crashing from the outside should be crashing at a tight angle. You don't want to get you want to loop too far outside because you're not gonna be able to cover the play side. So good job with the skip pull, staying square, assessing the threats, seeing the guy filling right there and trying to squeeze the run. He gets his hands on. Now the guy does pop him. You can see the guy really drops super, super low. Right here, it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see it if you look. And he does pop Becton, but Clark is able to get his hands on him. And then again, so he does get popped initially, but you better be damn sure you're going to be on balance or fight him after, because he's not going to like that you popped him like that. So he gets his hands on, left hand on the shoulder, right hand most likely into the armpit area, torques him to the ground, just tosses him. Love it. You got to love it. All right, next play, 12 of the 31 we have. I think we said 31, right? Another one on the turf. Yeah, all right, so they are running. Okay, so it's an RPO. I wonder if they're reading here. So they're reading any linebackers that are going to drop into coverage. Regardless, Clark's side of the offensive line is going to run block, like they're handing this ball off on this zone. Again, you're going to see a lot of these zero steps with Clark. So he takes that zero step again. He's not getting too far to the outside. He doesn't want to hit this guy to shoot his face and cross the B gap. Hands inside. It looks like the left line's a little bit high. What I'm seeing right here, it looks like the line's a little bit high, so you want to see him work on the hand placement, and you see him kind of pop up and staying straight up after that. So we would like to see him play with a little bit better leverage right here and a little bit lower hands, but he is able to torque the guy outside. Good angle to re-engage. Again, this is a better angle to re-engage. Remember last time where it was at a bad angle, where here he's working to that near shoulder, to that upfield shoulder. He's not allowing the guy to scrape over the top. He's getting hands on. Look at the hand placement right here. Ready? The wrench. See right there. So again, You're not going to do a lot, attacking the shoulders and things like that when you're trying to really, throw a guy off his center of gravity. Look what happens as soon as he wrenches him. Right hand on the hip, torques him to the ground. That's attacking. That's exactly what he's doing. He's attacking that midpoint of the body, that center of gravity. So that's what I call wrenching right there. Wrenches him to the ground, tosses him. Great job on that play. 13 and another. All right, so I guess he's going to throw a couple of guys. This Clemson game was absolutely ridiculous. This is one of the best games I've seen from an offensive lineman in a long time. That goes for Becton. That goes for maybe not Wills. Wills had some better games. That goes for, I would say, Becton, Wirfs. There's a freaking fruit fly in here. Sorry, I just try to swat it and I look like an idiot. So that goes for Becton. That goes for Wirfs. That goes for Jonah Williams last year. That goes for Jawan Taylor last year. That goes for a lot of guys. This was probably the best game I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know if I have to go back and look at some of Will's, but this game was ridiculous. This is pretty much as good as you can play. Another scenario, another drop zero step. Guy is tight to him. When a guy is tight to you, I get that zero step. Again, you don't see as much in the NFL. NFL, you're going to see more climb up, out, then get outside. Where in college level, it's more of like reading the guy. So zero step, hands on. Again, you can see that the right hand, you're going to see where it lands. If you watch his right hand shoot, you see how it slips over top of the shoulder pad. You don't want that, because that right hand is creating very, very, very little power. Now, I'm not sure exactly why the guy goes off balance, maybe because he does just control the neck, but you don't want to control the neck a ton, So he is able to use that circular force, torque him outside. The guy goes off balance, and what is Clark going to do? He's going to get his hands on. He's going to drive you through the ground. He wants to pancake you. He wants to land on top of you. He wants to finish you to the ground. I'll play it again. Again, it could fix the hands a little bit right here, but the torque and the finish right here it's fantastic. It really is. Again, you're going to see it a lot more throughout this review. We're about halfway through this. Let's see. It's Tuesday night. I'm recording a little bit late, so this is probably going to come out like 11 o'clock. I apologize for that, but got to get it done when I can get it done. Another RPO right here from Charlotte, where they're running like this drive, or this some people call that a knife concept right there, with the vertical from the slot and then a slant. Some people call it knife. Some people might call it drive. Drive is usually with a drag route, but Clark run blocks. That's all we're really looking at. I don't really care about the rest of the offense. Another zero. Now again, you see what I'm saying with the lean? These need to fix that for the NFL. NFL guys are going to study that. They're going to see that. They're going to prepare for your hands. They're going to chop you down. You're going to be on your knees. So I would like to see him again not lean as much, take his body and his feet with him into that block. And again, look how high his hands are. So there's definitely some things we're noticing, after 14 plays, trends of him leaning a little bit, hands a little bit high. You see the feet are a little bit slow. Then you see the technique. You see the hand placement. You see some of the footwork. You see, power. There's definitely positives here for a fourth round guy. I like this pick. Hands are a little bit high. He's able to torque him outside a little bit. So after he torques him outside, now there's this like disengagement. So what happens? Now Clark lowers his pads. He gets under him. Now look at it. So at first he's a little bit high, torques him outside. Now he gets low, drops those hips, gets under him, and drives him outside. You see the strength in the hands right here too. As soon as he re-engages right here, that left hand looks like it comes off, comes back in the chest, and if he gets under you, if a guy like Clark, even though he's a little bit, he's like 310-ish, he's a strong guy for his size. If he's going to get his hands in tight under your, into your chest plate with leverage, good luck, because his hands are strong, his legs are strong, he drives, he's powerful, he's nasty. Drive this guy outside, and he feels the guy is really top heavy. What does he do? Now he's gonna throw his hips back and rip him to the ground. I'm telling you, guys do not like playing Clark. I guarantee in the NFL, even, in college level, they were looking against this guy. They're like, damn it, I really got to go against this guy. He's going to gas you out, because guys in the NFL they're type A personalities. When you're going to throw them to the ground and rip them to the ground, they're going to want to, F you, I'm going to get back at you next play. And he's going to gas you out. He's going to. He's one of those guys who gets into your head a little bit. Really, really like that. Physical as hell. All right. Just watch him. Like, we can go over the technique. So my one thing with that left foot is you see how like exaggerated that left foot is. So for me, with that left foot right here, there's a lot of time right there where you can't really react. Now it kind of looks like he's going to work upfield. The guy gets outside, so he has to redirect. So it makes it a little bit more elongated of a step, but I'm going to say too big of a step regardless. Runs the guy outside, good angle to him, gets hands inside, grip strength, and just runs him outside. Runs him. Like, it's just tries to throw him over that guy too. Like, he sees that guy in the ground, like, oh, I'm going to push this guy over. Now he's going to get pancaked too. I'll play in full speed. Just appreciate the physicality here. That's what I really want you to take from this play, at least. He loves sending guys into the turf, man. A couple guys like him, Becton. I would say him, Becton, Mims, like really tough mindset guys. Like even Zuniga, Ashton Davis, who I'm a little bit lower on. I'm not lower on him in terms of his future NFL. I'm lower on what the impact I think he will make in 2020. Could he learn really quickly and develop quickly? Sure. Are a lot of things they need to change about his games? Yes. Don't believe me? Again, go back and watch the episode. It's me and a former NFL DB. Like, if there's one guy who knows DBs, you're going to hear talk about him, it's Marcus Coleman going through 2 hours of film with me. We both think he's very raw. He has a lot of traits. He's newer to playing the position. I think he played in high school a little bit too, but he wasn't even recruited to college as a football guy. He's a walk-on at Cal. So sack allowed here for Clark. Let's see why. All right, this is where you're going to take the slow and laboring feet. One, you see that left foot, that initial drive catch, kick slide. Some people say that. Again, some people say that the first step is the drive catch. Some people say it's a kick slide. Whatever. Doesn't create a lot of distance. Maybe half of a yard. And then you're going to see the helmet pop up and down and up and down. So what you really want to see is him get to the set point quicker. So you want to see him cut off this angle. So instead of being here, you want to see him be a little bit more outside and splitting his body. So he opens up a little bit. This is mostly slow feet. I like to see the angle behind the end zone view. This is a little bit of slow feet from him. Guy gets outside of him. And he does run up the arc, which, I'm okay with. But eventually he does get kind of cut off by these two guys, and then he loses connection with that guy, and he runs down the quarterback. So it's not a terrible sack because he does run him up the arc. And if the quarterback were to, what down is this? This is first down. A good quarterback, depending on I don't know what their route concept is necessarily. Obviously, it's a vertical concept, vertical stretch concept, whatever it may be. A good quarterback right here. This guy's wide open. To dump this off and the guy gets a first down. So this wouldn't be a sack, most likely in the NFL with Darnold. But I like to see a little bit. This is you can't really blame him for this. This is more of the slower feet, the less smooth feet that you see. Again, kind of it is a quarterback's fault. If I was blaming one guy for this, is the quarterback. You have a guy wide open in the flat, wide open, and it's first and 10. Easy dump off right there. Check down. Take the check down. All right, top heavy. I've said this before. There's the best way. There's multiple ways to figure out a guy's top heavy. The best way is to figure out if a guy's top heavy. If his hands are defeated, he falls to the ground. He's top heavy. He's too much into the top of his body. So, again, not the smoothest feet. You're gonna see the helmet. You see the helmet come up. You want to see his helmet stay at pretty much the same level and fire backwards, not up. You want your leverage to be up and down, up and down, up and down. You want to stay on one even solid plane. So not the smoothest feet right here. Again, don't think he's going to be a guy you want to tackle in space in the NFL against DNs and outside linebackers who are ridiculous. So with this play, you're going to see him be a little bit top heavy because he shoots the hands. Now, good job by the Buffalo end, sweeping down the outside, stepping through and spinning him. But if Clark had better feet right here, and this is a better play, he would. Well, I don't know if I necessarily vertical set this. I would probably rather have him 45-degree set this when a guy's like tight like that. But regardless, I would like to see him get to his set point, keep his hips square, and make him work through a harder edge. But because he opens up his hips right there, now instead of his body kind of being able to come force against force, now, instead of leaning forward, being on a good base, now you're going to have to work through a lot of force, a solid frame, solid hands, all that stuff. When you start to open up and work vertically, as you can see, he opens up. Now his momentum is going, instead of through this guy, like let's say if he, like I said, was to get to the set point, punch this left hand, bring that right to the hip and hold on to him, drive him, whatever you want to do. Works a lot better because now you're going force against force, whether it be, lift against pull or push or whatever we're talking about before, but you don't want a guy coming full speed at you. And then you're starting to throw your momentum instead of through him backwards. So now his momentum's going backwards as you open your hips. So his momentum's already taking him this way, defeats the hands, and his body's going to continue going that way. And that's why he falls on his face. So a little bit less top heavy, a little bit better of a pass that you could have seen there from Clark. Finish, again, a trend throughout this review. I watched this a couple of times. I remember watching this a couple of times. So another 0. Guy is tight. I'm fine with it. A little bit of lean. It's honestly not too bad, but it is a little bit of lean. And I think with his hands, I want to see more power in his hands. He's reaching a little bit right here. Yeah, so you see a little bit of lean and reach. I don't think this is going to be the most powerful punch. Looks like 52 is already going outside, which Buffalo 52 I don't know if Mac was Buffalo, right? Did he wear 52 in college? I don't know. Gets his hands inside again, a little bit high, a little bit of a lean, a little bit of a reaching for a contact, but he's able to get him outside, whether that be through torque and 52 already trying to maintain outside leverage. Good angle to cut him off. Again, he's not going. Maybe he's working too far down this way for following my mouse. Maybe I would like to see him work a little bit upfield. And sorry for the people. I know there are people who listen to this podcast. You're hearing me talk more about the leverage and things like that and saying positive and negatives. I know there's people who can't watch the YouTube videos. Obviously, the YouTube video is a better way to learn about the guy. If you can't, obviously, I appreciate you for being so dedicated. You're listening to me break down film when you can't see the film. You're a freaking true fan who really wants to learn about your players. Kudos to you, because I don't know if I could do it. But that's, awesome. But decent angle. Can't really see where his hands are. The running back cuts up the field, obviously, and he gets his hands on. Now, I don't know if because he was reaching for contact, it looks like his left foot gets stepped on right here. So I don't know if he meant to dive with him or if he tripped. I would say it almost looks like he tripped. Does that right foot hit the foot? It looks like it does. It looks like it's a little bit, yeah. So I'm going to say that he actually trips over the guy. He's not diving with him. It's not even because you could see it. So you can't really see his foot hit because it's not the best quality of video. But you normally don't see a foot redirect that quickly. Like, do you see his right foot? You're not going to see it pop up like that. Boom. Yeah, he kicks him. So he falls down with him. But still a decent job right there by Clark. 19 pass rep. All right. As you can tell too, a lot of these videos, I could go through each play and edit it and say and write down a perfect minute of what I want to say. I like to go through the film raw with you guys and kind of tell you what I'm seeing play by play as I'm watching it. Obviously, these are pre-recorded, but I recorded these 2.5 months ago, 2 months ago. How long ago was the draft? April, May, June, 2-ish months ago. So better pass set. You see there's a little bit more balance here. His helmet's going up a little bit up and down, but it's better balance. You see his feet don't look as clunky. He has more bend in his legs, more bend in his upper body. His helmet's staying at a more consistent level. It looks like he's going to shoot fake with that. Oh, yeah, okay. Good job right here. So his hands are in the ready position. Again, you'll see some offensive linemen who, because they're lumbering or laboring to get back into their sets, you'll see their hands kind of throwing down like this, and then you're not ready for the hands. You really, again, a lot of guys will teach their guys getting into pass sets to, rub a tennis ball or, flip a pancake, whatever you want to do. You just want your hands to be ready. You'll see a lot of guys, almost like they're fighters with their hands ready. So you want to see those hands around the belly button to solar plex type area, which they are right here for Clark. So good job staying with his hands ready. A little bit better balance. You're going to see the left right here. Fake punch. So it's just a little bit of almost like a feeler hand. So if he's going to throw out that hand, now if the D end is going to, chop at that, now he's off balance. Now you have the advantage on him. Let's see if that happens. Fake hand. Looks like he reaches a little bit. I'm not sure if it's exactly because of the fake hand, but I still like that fake punch. Guy's coming into contact. He hops back a little bit. You're gonna see Clark hop back a little bit here to get his hips lowered to get better leverage. Hands inside, extends them. You can see his arms are nice and tight inside of the guy. Looks like he's lifting a little bit, but his hands are definitely tighter. And the guy, I can't see if he necessarily chops down at the inside arm or if he just rips him down to the ground. Again, the fancy snatch and trap. Like, what is a snatch? What is a trap? He chopped the fucking arms down. Like, stop with the fancy shit. Chops the arm down, rips him down. Now, like snatch and trap, like if there's actual technique, I'll see a lot of people to say, okay, snatch and trap for chopping the arms down. It's called a chop. Now, if I'm saying he's cuffing, if it's a cuff technique, it's because it's an actual thing. Cuff technique is an actual thing where the guy's hands are gonna be tighter into you. If a guy's hands are tighter and lower, a lot of guys will get their hands on and drop their elbows down and into him to get his hands together like this and too tight, and then he's going down to the ground. So if his hands are tight and low, rushing you, then you're gonna drop your hips and your elbows as your elbows turn in like a quarter turn with your arms, and you're gonna cuff his arms and throw him down to the ground. So that's a cuff technique. It looks like he just pulls him to the ground right here and then finishes the play. Wide receiver drops the ball. Look the ball in, my friend. All right. Play 20. We got 11 plays left. Actually, 12 plays, right? Torque. I want to spend forever diagnosing this play. It looks like another RPO with that with the smoke screen right here. We're running either like a tight zone or duo. So Clark climbs up to the D end. It looks like they're going to try the backside gaps are what they really want right here. If they are going to run left hand into the ribs, again, good hand placement, torques them. So you really driving through that hand, torque, and just drive this guy inside, drives him inside, circular force again, down to the ground, and he's completely out of this play. So watch him just take this D end who looks like he has some meat on him, completely out of this play. Takes him where he wants to go. Like there's some plays that's the beauty of some zone plays is, listen, if you are the guard against the 3 tech on a play side of an inside zone, would you really like to let's say drive him outside if he's already outside leverage? Sure. But if he's going to shoot really hard inside, let him go inside. The running back is reading you and reading that hat. And then now that he's reading, that guy went inside, now his eyes are going to flash to the outside guy. Now if the tackle has outside leverage on the outside guy, now he's going to make it, he might bend the run outside. If he has inside leverage of that tackle, or if the tackle has inside leverage of the DN, now he's in a cut upfield. So that's the benefit of the zone, is being able to read these things. So a lot of guys who are zone blocking will have the awareness to know they might want to win an initial point, but once the guy wins that point, you want to take him where he is already trying to go to make it easier for the running back. You're defining the gap for him. So let's see what this play is. I have it labeled as stood up. All right, so These are plays I really like the end zone view for. So for me, if you're looking at Clark, again, it's a little bit hard from this angle to see. He's right here where my mouse is. It looks like he's so for me, the first thing I'm noticing when he's coming into contact, look where his helmet is, look where this guy's helmet is. So he needs to play a little bit lower here. So he's a little bit high. His hands are high. You can see the right hand is onto like the shoulder pad side of the helmet, wherever that may be. And this guy's going to get into his chest and completely he jolts him back right here, stacks him. You see his hands are inside and he's lower, pushes him back, and then he's able to make the tackle on the running back. So I need to see Clark a little bit lower there for sure. Coming to that block, it's hard to see exactly what happened. Clark movement. All right, so this is a combo block. Yeah, all right. So he takes like that near step right there towards the guy he's going to. Can't see exactly where the hands are, but the one thing I noticed about this play already is he's coming into contact with this guy, but his eyes are up to the second level. So I'm going to bet he's going to peel off to this guy. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. He does not. Interesting. Maybe this is so condensed. It's like a zone split right here. All right. So if we first talk about movement here, obviously he's coming into this block with the left guard, and he's moving the guy all the way from the hash and from the 10-yard line all the way back to the to the 6-yard line, and completely takes him out of this play right here. So we're just looking at movement here. Again, power right here. Gets under him a little bit, extension. Throws that guy the play again, defining that gap. Now, if he wasn't able to create this movement, let's say if he just stuck it here, now the running back has a much less defined gap. Or now the running back, look how like he has a lot of room. Now, obviously, this guy is coming to make the play, but he has a lot more room to read, a lot more room to operate. So good job on Clark right there with that combo. Another play of movement. Oh, that starts off weird. That's not what I was expecting. Gallop. So now he uses another gallop like we saw from the first few plays with that right foot here, with that step towards the guy, and then really generating a lot of that power off that back foot. It's almost like a hop, hand placement. Oops, sorry. So gallop to generate power to cover ground. Left hand onto the hip to the ribs. Again, the lower, you really want to see it like right on that hip, right where your shorts or your pants sit. Like that's the perfect area. A little bit higher, a little bit lower. It's okay. You're not going to see it a little bit lower really with that, but a little bit higher, it's okay. It's into the rib cage. Drives him. Like he was supposed to be like a fake handoff split. That's weird with him working over top of the quarterback and not underneath the quarterback. That's a weird looking. That's a weird play. It's like a zone split, and just watch Clark right here, and you're just gonna appreciate the movement from him right here. Again, good hand placement, good drive from the lower body, and just takes that guy completely upfield. Yeah, you like that. All right, 24-31. Dart's basically like a one-back power just with a tackle. Oh, yeah. All right. So he uses a this is not the cleanest pull. It's a skip pull, but it doesn't really close a lot of. He doesn't really cover a lot of ground right here. Looks like he's worried about that D end kind of penetrating hard right there. So it is a skip pull. It's not the best one, but he stays tight. He fills obviously that huge area of openness. That's where he's supposed to. These are the gap plays. This is designed. You're gonna have a down. You have a down. You're gonna have it down, and then you're gonna have him pull. This guy's gonna kick out, and then it's him versus whatever threat might be there from the linebackers. So the play is designed well. It works out well. Now I'd like the angle here. So this is a QB dart. Okay, so this is a QB dart. He knows the quarterback's gonna be working from inside. So if anything, he wants to stay inside of this guy. So I like that he's taking a nice vertical angle to him right here. He's not overreacting. You see he's not overreacting to this guy outside because listen, the quarterback is reading him. If this defender is going to go outside, Clark is going to work upfield and then outside and let him take the outside. Now in this scenario, if he was coming from let's say if you see where mouse is, if he was tighter, then Clark would know that the quarterback is looking to go to the outside of him, and then Clark would take the outside of him. But based on where he is, he's going to let him go where he wants to go. He's not going to overreact with his angle. So good job not overreacting, staying on a vertical angle, getting hands on, and pancaking him in the open field. So nice pull by him there on that dart. Good angle. I really, really like that angle. The smarts right there. It happens. If I could snap my fingers, I would. I cannot snap my fingers. It's a weird thing about me. You learn something new about me every show, maybe. I can't snap my fingers. But really, it happens that quickly. So for him to have those processing skills is a positive. I'm gonna get made fun. No, I don't care. My line of work, we make fun of each other all the time. If you can't handle people making fun of you and not being able to snap your fingers, I can make myself sneeze. So if you're going to make fun of me for not being able to snap my fingers, I'm gonna make fun of 99% of the population who can't make themselves sneeze. So game on. Send me a video of you snapping a finger, and I want to see a video of you sneezing, not fake sneezing. It better be a real friggin' sneeze. I'll be able to tell. I used that to my advantage in grammar school. In grammar school, if we sneezed, we had to go wash our hands. So when I would want to go talk to somebody, I would make myself sneeze. Torque. All right. More of a drop step right here. The guy's on top of him. He's a 4-eye tech. He's not even. So he's anticipating contact. So that's more of like, instead of like a zero, that's more of like almost like a brace or a drop step. Doesn't really reach for contact too much right there. I think it's good timing. Gets underneath his pads, torques him outside. Drop step, hands underneath, core power, torques him outside, runs to him. Now what I'm gonna say here is, again, just work at a little bit higher of an angle, not as hard down towards the guy. Let's see a little bit of a softer angle right here. The guy is able to get back in on the play, it looks like, but initially good play by Clark right there. 26. All right. Another one of those scenarios. So they run another zone split. And again, so he's the left tackle. So ideally on this type of play, I have to watch it a few more times to see exactly what they're trying to do based on the guys who are blocking them. So most likely, again, because I don't want to watch it a million times doing this live, you'd want to see him cover this play side and seal this guy to the backside. That's not what happens. I don't know if that's how it's designed, if they're expecting the defense to crash hard and they're expecting to cut back with this split. Regardless, I do like that Clark recognizes that he's not going to be able to cover the play side well here. So he's going to anticipate the running back reading him, and he's just going to torque this guy and take him where he wants to go. Again, you don't want to see a guy, get pushed back or here and continue to get pushed back right into the running back's gap, and he's not really defining a gap because you're trying to push him this way and the defensive end trying to push you this way, so you're kind of just in a stalemate. If he's trying to get over the top of you, and you're not going to win, take him there. Just take him there. That's all you can do. You have to adjust. No play works out perfect. Well, some plays work out perfectly. Very little end up working out perfectly though. So if he's going to get over top of you like that, torque him, take him where he wants to go. And now look, instead of him trying to fight force against force, now the running back, having to put his hand on him, hop back and forth. He's reading Clark, and Clark he defines the gap for him. That's exactly what he does. Drives him out of the screen. Good job. Meh angle. All right. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. So another skip pull. Oh, okay, this is a little bit different of a QB dart. This is another dart run. So again, you know the quarterback is reading you. This is the same scenario as before. The quarterback is reading you. This guy is outside. The quarterback's going to be at an inside angle. That's you have to know that in the back of your mind. So you want to work upfield with the quarterback and maintain your inside leverage without this guy scraping over the top. So what happens here is he works at too flat of an angle. The linebacker is able to get hands on and scrape over the top and does he get in on the tackle? I don't know if he actually gets in on the tackle here. He gets his hand on. So he actually doesn't make the tackle, but I'm still going to criticize that angle. You see what I'm saying with that angle? If he were a little bit more athletic and he just stopped there and then hopped back over, he could have made that play. He's not able to, but he needs a more consistent angle on that play to me. So he's a guy, he can work into space a little bit. You're not going to want to see him on a ton of pulls and things like that. If it's like a tighter pull, sure, but if it's like a sweep or a pin pull where it takes a little bit more movement, if it's like a fold, one gap over, fine. But getting out on screens and things like that, I wouldn't want him doing that. If anything on a screen, maybe you want him like blocking back on the zero or whatever, and then McGovern and Beckman getting out in the open field. Not necessarily Clark, but it's okay. I hear that a lot too. People, well, work around the strengths of your offensive lineman. Yeah, there are certain ways, you could. On screenplays, you don't necessarily want to see Clark move out a lot, but if one guy's power, one guy's zone, one guy's more power, one guy's zone, like you can't work, okay, well, you zone block, you power block, you zone block. Like you can't do that. Okay, well, this position, because, Becton, you're going to have to move a little bit more in this play. You're going to pull, and then Clark's going to play tackle because you have to down block. Like that's not how it works. So that's one of the things I hear a lot with offensive linemen. Well, if Clark is more of this guy and that guy is more of that guy, you're going to play their strengths. I think with certain positions, it's definitely easier to play the guy's strengths. Offensive line, corner, some of those positions are hard to do that. Receiver, you could definitely do it. Running back, you could do it for the most part. There's positions you definitely could. Quarterback, definitely could do it. But like corners, like it's like, okay, well, he's a strong zone guy, he's a strong man guy. Yeah, there are certain combo coverages where one guy's playing zone, one guy's playing man, but you can't say, okay, hey, you play man over here and you play zone over here. Like there's gonna be certain reps where they all gonna need to play cover 3, cover 4, cover 6, whatever it may be. So I wouldn't just say it like it's not that simple. That's another thing that's just thrown out there a lot by fans. So this play, he's a left tackle. Obviously, I would say he's a little bit late off the snap right here. The guy gets into him immediately, and I can't see exactly what happens with the hands. I'm gonna say Clark's hand lands a little bit high, but he just feels this guy leaning into him a lot, and he almost grabs him by the helmet and just rips him to the ground, pulls him to the ground, rips him, traps. So I put trap here. Who cares? Again, don't get tied up with that stuff. Pulls him to the ground, lays on top of him. Looks like a double ends, like a panther concept. Yeah, it's like a panther concept with the double ends and the flat. All right, next play. We got 3 more plays. The thing with I think I'm showing a good amount of negative and positive here, probably a little bit more positive for Clark. With a guy like Huff, admittedly, I put more positive in there. I think watching, for me, I'll notice defensive ends, negatives and positives, outside linebackers. I think with guys like corners, receivers, linemen, quarterbacks, even linebackers, it's a little bit more how do I explain this? It's a little bit easier to catch with your eye, the negatives. With outside linebackers, it's so minuscule. And it's really boring, to be completely honest. Like it's boring to break down like, okay, well, here he should have chopped the hands down. Like there's like little stuff like that I will do, but to do like a ton of plays, like if I'm doing 30 plays, to do like 10 negatives out of that, I think it'd be super boring. So most of them are positives. I will speak on the negatives of the undrafted guys. And like I said, people were in love with Greg Dortch. I roasted him. So I'm just preparing you for guys like Cager. I have not watched him yet, but there's probably a reason he's an undrafted guy. Only got like 500 yards or whatever at Georgia. So let's chill a little bit with the undrafted guys, even though I will say as a preview, even though this will be in 2 shows, not next show, because the next show is Morgan, I do like Huff. I do think Huff's probably going to make the roster. With that, let's look at the third to last play. Looks like he takes his zone step right here. Again, I can't see the footwork perfectly from Clark right here. Right hand to the into the shoulder, but inside. And just driving this guy. Again, it's hard with the end zone angle. I do like the leverage for the most part. Hands inside. And you can see the initial contact kind of jolts the guy back a little bit. And then he's going to refit his hands most likely, or maybe not. It looks like he's almost like kind of torqued over right here. Well, he's torqued over, and I can't really tell exactly how balanced Clark is, but Clark looks like this is more of like a grip strength, core strength type play. And he's just going to continue to drive this guy. He really does. And you're seeing him even after the play. I'll play in full speed. Really strong from the core, really strong upper body, really strong hands. Again, drives them. So positive play right there. Hopefully this next one's a little bit better of an angle. It looks like it is. Yeah, a little bit better of an angle here. If anything, I want to see the shitty view from the left side, not the right side. All right. The guy he's blocking again is tight. Takes another like drop step right here. So when we talk about it a little bit, he's reaching a little bit for contact. You see, he's really super extended right there. You don't want to be overextended. You want to see the bend in the elbows. You don't ever really want to be, straight locked out like that. Very, very minimal situations you do. So a little bit of an overextension. I would like to see a little bit more patience from him right here, but he's able to torque this guy outside into the ground. So, it doesn't start off the best, but he's able to get his hands inside. Again, power, and this guy is getting off balance. He doesn't just lay on top of him. You're going to see him refit that right hand right here. It's like kind of on top of him, like the forearm on top of his back, and he actually refits it. And then you're going to see him like really roll his power through. Like he's not a guy who's just going to, just go to the ground. Not just lay on top of you. He wants to throw you into the ground. A lot of guys are here, like, again, just jump on top of him. Clark literally refits his hands and then rolls his power up through his hips and launches him into the ground. I love this shit. Man, watch it again at full speed. Technique could be cleaned up a little bit, but to literally reset his hands and roll his power through his hips while going to the ground just to send him to the ground a little bit harder is so goddamn nice. It really is. The running back almost gets there. All right, last play of the review. Play 31 opens as he punches. We're ending with a negative. What am I doing? Okay, so yeah, this is the flag is on him. So this is some of the reasons you don't necessarily want to see him play tackle. You don't see the best balance here. And to me, you see the little bit like the heel clickiness. Heel click. Like there's it's not smooth, balanced feet. It's not a balanced base. And if anything right here, this guy's outside. I like to see him be more consistent with his set point right here. So continue to drop vertically. And once he, again, split the outside foot, split his body, once he gets into that contact window, whether it be fake punches, whatever it may be, shoot that left hand into him, hit him in the outer pec, come underneath with the inside hand and shut down that play. But he kind of is forced to open, and he reaches for contact a little bit. Like you see how he's kind of standing straight up right here. Looks like his hands get defeating. It's a little bit top heavy. And the guy's able to slip under him right there with the rip, and he has to hold him. So, again, with this play, I would like to see him cut him off right here instead of just working, completely vertically and just opening up. if anything, you want to see a stronger punch. You really want to see that left hand land. And if he is going to continue up the arc, get the left hand inside of him. And again, work that center of mass, work that right hand into the hip and work him up the field. But he's not really able to get his hands on in a great position. And he holds the guy. So you see something like the lack of athleticism, the lack of tackleness in his game. I think he's a guy in tighter spaces, tighter confined spaces. You want to see him as a guard, not a tackle at the NFL level. I don't think he is. Now, maybe like a true power scheme, could he be a little bit more like a right tackle? Sure, but I really don't think so. I especially for the Jets, I think he's going to end up being guard. That is it. I don't know how long the show was. I think today's Tuesday. I think on Thursday I'm gonna record Morgan. Maybe it'll be out on like Friday. So you're gonna be getting Morgan, and then like I said, you'll be getting Huff, and then most likely Desir. Desir I might do in 2 parts. I think I have like 60 plays of Desir. So even if I cut that down to 50, Marcus usually likes to do like 30 plays tops. So maybe I'll do like part 2, 30 plays, part 1, 30 plays by myself, part 2 with Marcus Coleman. We'll see how that works out. Like I said, I appreciate all the reviews. I appreciate the support for the site. A lot of people are subscribing now and things like that. I hope people are getting their jobs back and are starting to work a little bit more. Again, if you are having troubles in terms of like you love the content of the site, but you just can't afford, I think it's $6 a month. Like I know people are in that type of positions. Message me on Twitter. I will not blow up your spot. I will not tell anybody your name, even your name. And say, listen, this is the best I could do. Could you do that? And we'll help you out the best we could. I appreciate all the support. Drop the podcast reviews again. It helps us get out to more people. The more people we get to subscribe, the more money we get, to be completely honest. The more money we get, the better equipment we have, the better, website. We're working on the app still. We're having some issues with Apple with the app, but we're getting the app out. We're going to update the app. We're going to do all this stuff. So it helps that out. And it just shows me the support. It takes a lot of freaking work to do these shows. I don't just say, okay, yeah, let's do an hour on Thursday night and talk about, what can we talk about? Jamal Adams, Sam Darnold's expectations and why people are criticizing him. And is it Gase or him? And let's also talk about Quinn Williams year 2 and his expectations. And is he a bust? Like, it's easy to do that and talk for an hour. This takes a F ton of work. So take 2 minutes and drop those reviews, please. I appreciate everybody. And that's it. Have a good one.